Carl and Damon here from Games, Brains and Headbanging Life, gbhblofficial for short. Look at us both representing. We didn't plan this. He's wearing Red Dwarf, I'm wearing Red Dwarf. Quite different tees, but it's Red Dwarf nonetheless, and totally not planned. I've been on a Red Dwarf kick as of recent because my wife, who had only ever seen random episodes, never really got it, never really understood it. So I was like, right, we're gonna put it on like normally when we're having dinner or something. It's been on in the background, and we burned our way through the first, obviously, original run, the 8 series is. Then Return to Earth, which is better than you remember. It is better than you remember. It really is. And then, of course, season 10, series 10, which is, again, better than you remember as well. Like, it turns out consistency, and we're not here to talk about Red Dwarf, but, we can just now. We should actually, I'm going to say this now, totally as part of this recording, but I'm planning a lot of different tier lists. We should do a tier list, Red Dwarf related tier list about episodes, I think. Because goddamn, like when you watch it back, and it's been a while since I'd done the whole show, and like don't get me wrong, the early series are not as strong. Basically, from like season 3 to 8, it's just fucking solid gold, And
Yeah.
it gets emotional at times. You know what I mean? But anyway, the point was we didn't plan this. We both ended up wearing Red Dwarf tees. But there you go. We are here to talk about games. That's what we're actually here to talk about, because this, of course, is our roundup of the games that we've been playing, the best we've been playing, the worst we've been playing in those games. Those extra games here and there that you drop in that don't fit in either category, so to speak. And we've kind of got a big chunk to do here because we're not just looking at January, we're kind of looking at December as well, because we did an early roundup of the year in December for 2025, and we didn't really look at December's games. Now I've not included everything because there was a ton of Christmas games like the Grinch and stuff like that I'm not really going to mention here. They've been played and blah 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 blah. I've narrowed it down, but yeah, we've got the best, the worst, and achievements only, basically. And we're going to tell you about what we've been playing, what we've been enjoying, what we've been hating, and why. I've got a ton on the best, a ton on the worst, and a ton in the middle. So, what's yours look like?
Yeah, I've got three in the best, about 10 in the worst, and one in the middle.
Okay, all right. Well, let me just spit out all these ones in the middle, because I reckon you might have a similar thing here. So basically, folks, in the month of January, a ton of those easy games, the ones that are giving you achievements for fucking free, practically, the ones that irk Liam so very much, upset him so much. All of those, loads of those games, if not the majority that I played, all had updates. Little Bear, Mr. Slime and Dungeon, Magical Backpack, Factory Escape, Kitten Island 2, Sticky Twig Dash, Escape Dash, Journey, Mimi the Cat, Puzzle Pet, Feed Your Cat, Minos Dungeon, Dual Paths, Meow and the Diamond Jump, Honeyland, Cat Pipes, Collie Cole, Farm of Tomorrow, Cat Needs, and many more all had updates. I probably pulled in about 10,000, if not more, maybe 15,000, just with these updates that took, in most cases, I was surprised. A lot of them I actually had to play. Like, I had to
Mm.
play levels to do. But, like,
Yeah,
I'll give you a good example. The last one I did was Little Bear Windows. I had Little Bear Windows, so I did it last night. And, like, it wanted you to basically, the new thing had, like, collect 5 honeypots or a honeypot in a specific level. Start the level up. There's the honeypot. Grab it. 200G. Achievement earned. End of. Took like 5 minutes. I'd say I feel shame, but I already own these games. So like all I'm doing is finishing them up anyway.
yeah.
And actually, there's a reason why I've been focusing on like making sure these games are all tidied up as well, is because I'm on a completion kick. Now I'm going to explain more in a minute about what that means. But basically, tons of updates. I presume you had the same, yeah?
Yeah.
What do you reckon? Has Liam been sitting there when you've been seeing my gamer score go up? Do you reckon he's been sitting there?
It's quite obvious when it happens. When suddenly I go from like 100 gainer score for the month to like 10,000 or something
Yeah.
like that, because every so often I will just go through all my list of games and go, for fuck's sake, it's another update.
Yeah.
So then I've got to go and I'm not going to leave it. It's a free. It's not like I'm paying for it. It's a free update.
You already own it. Yeah, you already
Yeah,
own it. It's
yeah,
a free update. Why would you not finish it? There's nothing wrong. I 100% agree. Same. I basically filter my games every couple of weeks. I filter my games because you don't get like. I wish there was a system where Xbox like notified you, hey, this game you own has
yeah.
had an update. Do you know what I mean? It's probably way too complex or costly for them to do, but it would be
Yeah,
good.
because even on True Achievements, it doesn't show
Yeah.
you the DLC. It only shows you the base game. So unless
Yeah.
you
What
physically click on the game,
what I do, folks, if you use True Achievements, the trick is this: go to My Games and then use the filter option and hide all completed games. And then it will just show you the games that are not completed. And that's then I'm like, oh, okay, that one's now no longer completed, and so on. That's how I found that there was an update to Sienna 2, Hellblade, an update to what was it called? Assassin's Creed Mirage via that, because I don't get told, but there you go. So yeah, tons of those, folks. On top of that, I also completed Spot Challenge Volume 3 and Spot Challenge Volume 4. I'm telling you now, I don't care how easy those games are, I will not buy another one of them.
Mm.
I fucking hate them. They're the
Yeah,
worst spot the difference games. They're no fun. They're no fun. And I genuinely believe if I didn't use a guide, I wouldn't be able to complete them because they're
I,
too fucking hard.
I enjoyed the first one, but then when he played the second one, the third one, the fourth one, it gets so repetitive.
And I know what you're saying, folks. Well, why did you buy them? I bought them fucking ages ago when I bought them all. Do you know what I mean? They'd been sitting on my hard drive waiting to be completed, which brings me to what Carl's been doing in January. After a little bit of debate with our brother Liam over some gamer score challenge at the beginning of the year, I pointed out to him and you that I would not be buying any new games until Resident Evil Requiem, which comes out on February 27th. Now, it is Thursday the 5th of February, so not too far off that at the time of recording, but I was not going to buy any new games. I wasn't just not even any cheap, easy games. I was going to basically focus on completing games in my hard drive. I had tons of games. We've all got a backlog. But when you start thinking this is stupid, right? Like I'm spending a tenner on a fucking bunch of stupid games, and I've got these other games that if I just spend a couple of hours with, I can complete. So that's what I've been focusing on doing, completing games on my hard drive. And I've done quite a few. I'm quite pleased to say I have done quite a few. A lot of them bad, some good, actually, some surprisingly good, and some I'm still working on right now. I am going to break my rule, but technically I'm not going to buy this game. On February 13th, High on Life 2 is released on Game Pass. So technically, I'm not buying it. But I am playing High on Life 2 because I really like High on Life 1. But I'm not going to buy a game to Resident Evil Requiem. So yeah, it's mostly been about completing games for me, and I guess that's what kind of going to get into. So should we focus on the worst first, or did you have? No, you said you had one in the middle. What was the one in the middle?
So the one in the middle is the game I'm currently playing at the moment. I'm basically almost finished it, but it's Final Fantasy 13.
Okay.
So
Oh, lightning.
yeah. So this is the first time I've ever played 13. You know, obviously I've obviously completed all the originals. Haven't played obviously the remake of 7 yet, but I'll get to it at some point. But 13, it's a very enjoyable game. I love the gameplay. I love the game style, but I get the criticism now of
Yeah.
obviously the criticism I've heard is obviously the story is so confusing, it makes no sense, and it's true. The story is all over the place,
Mm.
but as gameplay goes, it's very enjoyable. Obviously, it's the format is very different to how your battles used to be from the original lot. And I know 7 does the same sort of format now, and it's probably going to be the future of Final Fantasy going forward. You know, but it's an enjoyable game. The story is not great. Lightning is not she's an okay character. She doesn't have the same pull as a Cloud or a Squall or a Zidane. You know, so.
Why in the middle though? Then is it because you can't decide if it's good or bad?
I mean, I'm about 18 hours into the game, so I know I'm near the end of the game anyway. But I was, achievements wise, it's only 35. I've done about 15 out of 35, and it's in the middle because the fact that to make it a great game, it has to have a great story.
Mm.
And I don't think it has. I don't think the story is great, but I
Right,
don't
I
think it's a terrible
understand.
game. But yeah. So
Particularly when you're doing a Final Fantasy game needs a great story.
it is a great story.
I never completed it, but I remember kind of enjoying it once you get through the very long linear part. Like you kind of need to get through that very long linear first 10 odd hours where the game's just like you go this direction and that's all you're fucking doing.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, the one thing which annoyed me was like the first probably 10 hours, and finally now it stopped. But literally every 10 minutes, you're jumping from here's one character to another
Yeah.
character.
It's
to
a bit
another
all over the
character.
place. Yeah.
And it's like that's not a Final Fantasy. Final Fantasy, you meet your squad as you go through the game. You know, you meet your characters as you go through the game. Not like, oh, basically everyone already knows each other, and you're gonna be playing different people. And yeah. But
It was different. It was definitely different. Okay, how many got on the worst?
I mean, you literally just named all the worst with all like the little bears, all
Oh,
the
you
magical
put
stuff.
them in there, yeah?
Yeah, because they're doing the worst because
Of
the fact
course.
they're cheesy ones, aren't they? So
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. So nothing else on the worst, no?
no.
Nope, cool. No worries. Then I'll just do all my worst.
Yep.
Okay, so let's start with the most recent completion, the Backrooms 1998. I feel a bit mean about this one because it is a game created by one person and a lot of effort was put into it, and it's got a really dark story, like a really twisted story but I basically what it is, you're like it's a first person horror game. You dropped inside like this area that's just like a maze, and you've got to find items to then escape or see the ending while trying to avoid a monster. Now, normally I hate these games. I really don't like the run and hide gameplay ones, you know, where you're just forced to hide in a locker while it looks like it looks for you. You hide and lock and you come out and it immediately sees you and you have to hide again. I hate games like this. This is not as bad. The creature's easy to dodge, it's easy to get away from, and it doesn't kill you instantly if it does get you, which is a big problem sometimes in these games. However, when I say a maze, the place is a fucking maze. And there aren't many guides online that are very good for it either. There's a map you can pick up that is next to fucking useless. And basically, it's got a slight glitch where so the only achievements relate to you finding specific things. Yet you don't have you won't necessarily find all these specific things in one playthrough. However, say you miss one and you pick up all the items and the game ends and you can't and then you start the game again and you will then have to find all the same things again even though you've already found them before, basically. And in a game without a maze, that's a maze without a map, that could be incredibly frustrating. I missed one achievement. It was Call of Twins. I ended up finding it in a second playthrough, and the achievement then for unlocking all the other achievements didn't unlock because it didn't count my other ones as being found. So I had to go around and find them again. And it ended up making the game feel like a massive chore. Whereas if it just been one complete playthrough, it would have been about an hour of a solid horror game. Because the achievements were fucked up like this, it ended up ruining it a little bit for me. So that's the Backrooms 1998. There is one Christmas game I wanted to throw in, and only because it got updated in January that fixed the broken achievement. Christmas Mutilator is an old school, you know those games that have like a VHS retro aesthetic with tracking lines and all of that? It's one of
Yeah.
those games. PS1 graphics that. It's one of those games. And I thought the idea was great. You're a woman at home alone on Christmas and along comes a killer dressed in a Santa suit. I thought, yeah, that could be a fun play. And it is. It's very short. In fact, there's a part at the beginning where you have to collect logs. That's probably the longest part of the entire game. And on a second playthrough, you could probably burn through it within 15 minutes. But there was a glitched achievement. There was an achievement nobody could unlock, basically. So I kind of put it to the side after Christmas, thinking, they'll never update this. Do you know what I mean? A small indie
Yeah.
develop, and no, but they did. They did. The game is fully completable now. It's in the worst though because of this. Plays like shit, looks like shit, had a broken achievement, and compared to some of the other horror games, is nothing special. That's why it's in the worst. Hindsight. Holy fuck! I had to play this game in 6 different sessions, even though it's like a 3-hour game and mostly a narrative driven adventure. We just clicking on things. It was so, I had to break it into sections because it was so fucking dull. I was falling asleep playing it. Hated this. It's just like, looking back at some woman looking back on her life, remembering stuff about childhood, and it's supposed to be emotional, but it's done in such a boring ass way that I fucking hated it. I hated it. I hated Hindsight. Antarctica 88 4K remaster. Now, this is actually a game I played before, the original version. Now it's had a remastering, so a re-release, same achievements. And effectively, it's a short horror game, kind of similar to The Thing. You're a scientist in some Antarctica base. There are monsters around. You've got to solve a few puzzles. There's a section where you drive a snow plow, not a snow plow. What do they call those things? They're like in the snow, but they're fast. Snow sled? Sled?
Yeah, so, yeah. I'd say so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, there's a section like that that's quite tricky. The achievements are fairly easy. There's an achievement for completing it, getting a good, bad, and middle ending, and it's just by different things. There's a cave section that's probably the worst part of the game. There's nothing special here. It's in the worst. As part of my completionist program, I ended up going back to a game called Midnight School Walk. I bought this game back last year when I was buying a load of those, the choose your own adventure games. It's just
Yeah.
text. Midnight School Walk was released and basically had no English translation. It was all in Japanese. I was like, the fuck did I just buy? How can you play a game like this with no English translation? You can't.
Well, yeah,
Now,
exactly.
now since then it's had it, but it's terrible and it's bad and it's really poorly done. And like a lot of these games, it's mostly just choosing the right times to save, but you will struggle to find guides for this game. So what I ended up doing was just guessing a lot of the time. There are some guides for some specific endings, but there are like 50 different endings. So there are other endings where I was just basically creating a ton of different save points and doing basically trial and error. Oh, what did this choice lead me to? Oh, the same direction. Well, let me go back to my old save and try the other. And doing that, eventually I was
Yeah.
able to complete it. But I warn you, avoid that game because it's not like it's a problem. Bad cat. You play as a cat going around knocking things off. You've got missions like knock X amount of plates off. It's very easy, very simple. But weirdly, the one thing that should be good about it, e.g., playing as a cat, is horrible. The controls are shit. I didn't like it. Speaking of cats, I also played Copycat, which I forgot to include, but I'm going to include now. Copycat is an emotional, fucking hell, this game annoyed the hell out of me. An emotional game about getting old and like not being able to look after a pet and all of that kind of thing. And you play as a cat who's adopted by an older lady who's not well. That cat eventually starts to love her. She falls ill. The cat ends up getting kicked out. And there's this extra story about the original cat coming back and her getting confused between the cats. But then there's this mad scene. I'm going to spoil this because I still think this is such a shocking scene and I do not understand it. So obviously the game is supposed to be emotional, right? And it's mostly a narrative driven adventure. There's no free running. It's QTEs mainly. You press a button and the cat does something. But when the old lady, there's a scene, right, where when she realizes the two cats are the same, she takes the new cat, drives out to the middle of nowhere and dumps it. And this is supposed to be like, oh my God. And I was like, hold on a second, this makes this woman a villain. Like, bring it to a shelter. So, I mean, I'm old, I can't care for it, all of that. But dumping it, it felt like a fucking... And I couldn't understand what the game was doing. It felt like it was like, I'm supposed to feel sorry for this old lady who can't cope. And all I kept thinking is, that is evil. That is evil.
Well, yeah.
Fucking dumb game. Did not like it. Avoid Copycat. It's also got annoying achievements. It's got a fucking goddamn annoying achievement about catching a butterfly that took me longer than to do all the others. Midnight Remastered, a top-down, old-school kind of horror game where you go around the house and find things. Do you know how bad this game is? I couldn't even remember it. I looked at the title and was like, Midnight Remastered? The fuck is that? I ended up looking at some screenshots and I was like, oh yeah, I remember playing this. And then I was like, what was it about? That's a terrible sign, in my opinion. Deep Under. Speaking of games I can't remember, this was one of those choose your own adventures that I had on my hard drive. Something about magic. That's that. Caligo, a walking simulator, sort of set in some trippy ass end of the world, kind of like Dante's Inferno style thing. Very easy to complete, very boring. And last but not least, Roof Cat's Band, Suka style. Now, I bought this game thinking that it was like a lot of the other cat games I play, Hidden Cat, stuff like that. Oh no, this is a puzzle game where you drop cat heads into like a square box, like a Tetris grid, and you've got to match them up. And as they match up, they grow in size. It has two of, I think, the hardest achievements I've experienced, purely because You just need to be lucky. You need to be lucky. And I've got close with one of them and then failed. And the problem is each game takes a good 30, 40 minutes. So, and there's no way to know if it's going wrong until later in the game. So it's a very difficult game that relies on luck. It relies on luck about where things drop. It relies on luck where things touch. You can have two giant cat heads that are filling up your arena, and you need them to touch so they'll become one. But then something's stuck in between them. It's hard to describe. It's a very frustrating game. I'm gonna complete it. Like every night, I'm like, right, have one more go. Just have one go and see if this is the luck. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, hopefully I'm gonna get lucky.
Yeah.
But it doesn't rely on skill. There's a certain level of skill, but it relies mostly on luck, and that's a bad game. Anyway, that's my worst. So there you go. Quite a few bad ones. But this is what happens. All of these games. Oh no, sorry, I missed one. Delivery Driver Massacre. Just like Antarctica, just like Christmas Mutilator. It's a VHS style 90s PS1 style game where you get captured by a killer and you have to escape a house. This almost stayed out of the worst because I actually kind of enjoyed it. But the reality of it is it's ugly. It's not very fun. It's got an annoying the killer can't kill you outright. So he can cut you and then you can run away and heal yourself. About 3/4 of the game, there is a random trap that can kill you instantly, forcing you to start from your last save point. Why?
Lovely.
When that happened to me, I was like, you prick of a game. Do you know what I mean? But it's just one of those games. It's got two endings. One of the endings can be gained in 10 minutes. The other can be gained in 15. Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. Very short. Yeah. So there you go. Right. Let's look at some more positive things. How many? You said you got three. Go on.
I've actually found one in my true achievements list of I want to stick in the worst actually. Now that I think about it. So it's not on Game Pass, but it's in the free game section. So I was just going through it just for love, and I spotted a game which I quite like. This game. It's called Coloring Book.
I almost did this. And then I saw, and I deleted it.
So I quite like these games, like the old paint by number sort of thing. So, but then after a while, I got bored, and the base game is so easy completion until I discovered there's about fucking 16 fucking DLCs, all £4.19 each, and I thought, for fuck's sake! But because of so basically every month I buy 2 of the DLCs. But I mean, what a piss take! Come on, I should have known. There's 64 achievements. I should have known. But because I already unlocked half the achievements before I realised, for fuck's sake, now it's stuck on my game, on my Xbox.
Yeah, I fell for this as well. It basically came from a True Achievements article in December, I think, that kind of listed some easy to complete free games. And I looked for it and thought, there's a couple there, and I saw Coloring Book, and I thought, hey, that could be relaxing. Downloaded it, started it up, didn't unlock an achievement, went to look at the achievements and went, the fuck's going on here? Then I looked and was like, nope, I am not playing that. So I removed it, deleted it, got rid of it. Yeah, unlucky.
Yep. So basically, the free game it's going to cost me about 50 quid to complete it.
Basically, yeah. It is quite funny. They got you there.
They did.
All right, let's do some best then. How many you got in the best?
1, 2, 1, 2, 4.
Okay, well, I got a few, so let me start and just knock some out, and then we'll come to you. So let's start with a game about digging a hole. This was on Game Pass. I do suggest you pick it up. It's a lot of fun. It's basically dig a fucking hole in your back garden. Just keep going deeper and deeper and deeper. There is a little bit of a weird narrative in it, and a speed run. Well, after you finished it and you get to know the game, I noticed there was an achievement for completing the game in a time that I thought was impossible. Then I discovered that there's a trick, and if you watch my speed run, you'll see me do this game in about 5 minutes, complete it. Do you know about this game?
I've seen like clips of it on like YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's an easy game, can probably be completed in about 2 hours, because that first playthrough where you just have to upgrade things and dig normally is a little bit more challenging. That's not challenging. That's the one that takes a bit longer. But well, tell a lie. No, technically, you could do this. You could do the glitch. It was not a glitch. It's not a glitch. Sorry, because they put it in the game. You could do the exploit on your first playthrough, but I didn't know about it. So I'll tell you what it is, but you go download it and go watch my speed run on the YouTube channel at the GBHBL YouTube channel. There's a specific tile by the bench in the very opening part of the game in the back garden that if you click gives you basically infinite money. And just keep clicking it, and then you can buy all your upgrades, dynamite, all of that immediately. On my speed run, you see me do that, then I make a quick hole and I just start chucking dynamite down that hole, and it blows up bigger and bigger. And within 2 minutes, I basically could almost get to the entire bottom of the game.
Yeah.
But it was fucking fun. Ignoring that exploit, the original one, I just really enjoyed the whole digging the hole thing. I just did. I thought it was a cool idea. Kiosk. Sorry. Oh, sorry. Were you going to say something?
No.
All right, Kiosk. Again, one of these 90s retro PS1 aesthetic games. I don't know what it is about these that I like, but I like this. But this one has you working inside like a fast food kiosk window. People come to the window to order food. And basically and you have to make it. And as the game goes on, you do different days and you have to cook more items. Like somebody's got to do hot dogs, and you actually got to do this kind of cooking mini game each time. But at the same time, there's horror things going on. But you keep hearing radio reports about killer. A killer. The previous person that worked there disappeared. The lights go out randomly. There'll be like some of the characters are jump scares. Like it'll be a clown that's randomly there. I actually had a lot of fun with this and thought it was quite clever. Again, it's not a difficult completion. It'll probably take you about an hour to do. But it's definitely one of the better ones of that sort of retro PS1 style games. Kiosk. I am currently playing Yuka Replayly. Now, of course, this is the re-release and remastered version of Yooka-Laylee. Now, are you aware? Was it Yooka-Laylee? Was it called Yuka? Oh, I've forgotten the name of it. Hold on. Yooka-Laylee. It was Yooka-Laylee. Yeah, Yooka-Laylee. Do you know about this game?
No.
I wondered if you know about this. Now, I'm about to blow your mind, and you have missed out on this. So, Yooka-Laylee was released about a couple of years ago, and came with a bit of fanfare. Do you know why it came with fanfare? It is the spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie. It is made, not by Rare, because remember, Rare doesn't exist as Rare did anymore, but it is made by the people who all made a brand new studio who were part of the Rare studio during Banjo-Kazooie. So basically, the same team, they even got the composer back, Grant Kirkhope. It looks and plays like it is, for all intents and purposes, it's Banjo-Kazooie modern, but it's called Yooka-Laylee, using different characters and so on. Now, it's even got the same, like, you know, the way the characters talk. It's even got all of that. All of that. I loved it. It got criticized because the gameplay was dated, basically. It was basically Banjo-Kazooie from the Nintendo 64, but a modern looking game. So naturally, if you're not really into that sort of thing, people didn't like it. It's been re-released, redone, better control. It's been basically remastered and re-released as Yuka Replayly. That's the version you should play. You love Banjo-Kazooie. You should have played this. Go look at it. Yeah. Put it in your wish. Put it in your wish list, and when it's cheap, pick it up. Keeper. Liam banged on about Keeper, and I have been playing it. I don't think it's as good as everybody says it is, and I find it a little bit boring at times, but it is a gorgeous game, a great story. I'm near the end of it, so I'm looking forward to completing it. You know, the sentient lighthouse thing is very interesting. It's very clever, and the fact that it tells this story without any dialogue is impressive. Let me do a couple more. Rat Shaker. What the fuck? This might be one of the maddest games I've ever played. The first 10 minutes of it will drive you nuts because all you're doing is shaking a rat up and down. And then you have to squeeze said rat until it chokes to death. Yes, I know what that looks like, but you will see when you're doing it. It's fucking insane. And then this rat's talking to you about God, begging you to choke it. And then it's like, okay, now you got to go to that house. Yeah. And along the way, you've got to constantly shake this rat. And the more you shake it, it does different voices. Sometimes it just screams at you. And then you go to this house, and like it's a horror scene. And then like you got to break the rat's back so it becomes a glow stick. Long story short, Rat Shaker is insane. but it's also a horror game with a generally dramatic ending that when I got to, I was like, oh, that's a twist I didn't see coming. I won't spoil it for you. You can probably complete the game in about an hour and a bit. It
Mm.
does have two different endings. It's very unique. Just be prepared to hurt your thumb shaking that round. New Monopoly. Yeah, it'd been a while, so I was like, let me play a Monopoly game. Picked up this new Monopoly. Easy completion. Even though some of the achievements are challenging, there are exploits involving multiple controllers and things like that. Sometimes I don't know, I get a vibe for these games. It's like, let me play a bit of Monopoly or something, you know? I don't like playing
Mm.
Monopoly in real life, so this is the best way. Okay, I'll stop now. You have a go. You do one.
Well, I've got four, but then there's two games I want to mention. One which I started and then I put down to one side and I haven't looked at the achievements. And there's one which I know I saw you playing a couple of days ago, and
Ooh,
I can't wait to play it. So
ooh.
I'll start with that one. So it's Broken Sword. So I've got Broken Sword. Obviously, the sword of what's it called? The
Shadow of the Templars.
yeah. So obviously, I'm really excited to play that because obviously I've
Do you
not
mind if
played
I
a
jump
Broken.
in?
Yeah, yeah.
Is it the reforged version, the brand the new
That.
version? Yeah, yeah, that's the brand new
Yeah.
version. Yep, cool. Just want to say, do you know they're doing that for Broken Sword 2 as well?
Are they?
Broken
Oh
Sword
wow,
2 comes this year. Broken Sword
wow.
2, the Smoke and Mirror reforged.
Wow, that's going to be unbelievable. Yeah, so I've
Yeah,
not played a Broken Sword game since probably since two. I think I think
yep.
but it's been a while. So obviously I'm very excited to start that when I get to it. So obviously yeah, there's that. And then the other game which I started and then I quickly stopped playing it. So it was Elden Ring. Okay, so I started Elden Ring. Got out of the first sort of like I don't know training dungeon I guess you call it, and then walked around the corner and I got killed by some big boss on a horse, and then obviously it reset everything. So it's like really that pissed me off. So then I turned it off and I thought at some point I'll go back to that game because it sounds like a very very long game and I'm not ready to start a long game, so I'll put it to one side. So that's those two there.
Fascinating. You know, I'm not gonna. You know what? You know how I feel about Elden Ring. It's
Yeah,
one of the best games ever made, and even then, when you said it, I started smiling. And it's like, David, I hate to break it to you, but if you mean when you first step out into the world, right, and you sort of see the world outside of the dungeon, yeah, that
yeah,
ain't a
yeah.
boss. That ain't a boss, dude. I hate to break it to
Well,
you. That's not even close to a boss.
some geezer in a horde after
Yeah,
some
that's right. Yeah,
crazy woman.
there's a
Yeah,
knight roaming that. But Damon, like, remember, like just like Dark Souls, eventually that guy will be just a mug to you, and you'll walk
yeah,
past him
yeah,
and be like, "Fuck you, kill." Do you know what I mean?
yeah,
You
yeah, of
are at the
course.
start of the game. But there you go. Yeah, like Broken Sword, Shadow of the Templars is an amazing game. Um, but I can't wait for obviously Broken Sword 2 is very special. In a couple of years, well, last year I think I told you I went back and went back and played Broken Sword 3 and 4. They were released during a time when I wasn't playing games, and they did change the formula. They were 3D games.
Mm,
I thought 3 was actually quite good, aside from the box puzzles. 4 was disappointing, and you know I've told you this before. Broken Sword 5, the last one, or the latest one, but that was released like 8 years ago, was a
mm.
return to form, and I urge everybody to play Broken Sword 5. It is very good. And they're supposed to be making a new one as well at the same time. So
Okay, yeah,
we
yeah,
are getting a
cool,
lot of
cool.
Broken Sword. It is a series I adore. I'll always love George Stobart. Okay, well, let me jump in then. Speaking of like old games, then that have had remakes, the House of the Dead remake. So over Christmas, my wife and I were like, let's play some games co-op. She is horrible at games, unless it's Power Wash Simulator. Basically, my wife will not or refuses to learn the concept of left stick move, right stick look. And those two things combined fuck her up to the point where she just gets mad. So we were looking at games we could play and stuff like that. We tried a certain game that I'm going to come to in a bit that she struggled with, and then I was like, you know what? The House of the Dead. I already owned it. It's a remake. It's got a cursor, and all we got to do is shoot shit. We actually had a lot of fun playing it through, and then I looked at the achievements, and I was like, hold up, this is doable. And a major part of it was doable is because they've allowed you, check this, to activate cheats and still get the achievements. And what
Okay.
it did, right? And you might think, well, that's no fun. No, it actually was a lot of fun because this is an arcade game that relies not just on skill, sometimes luck. And a lot of the achievements, for example, one of the achievements is to find every route, to go every route. By the end, by focusing on the achievements, I realized I had played more of House of the Dead in this one session than I'd played in all my life. I'd seen every level, I'd fought every boss, I'd gone down every different route, I'd seen every story angle, I'd done it, I'd rescued every. There's an achievement for rescuing every scientist. I did that thanks to certain cheats involving infinite ammo. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it was like, oh, this is really cool. These cheats allowed me to see House of the Dead fully. Do you know what I mean? Enough so. And do you know what
Yeah.
it made me do? I haven't bought it because of my self-imposed ban, but it made me go, I'm going to pick up the second one. The second one's on there as well. Do you know what I mean? Like, so this is a good
But you
example
think,
where I think cheats were done well.
but you think about it. I mean, I think we owned it briefly, but other than like sticking a pound in the arcade,
Yeah,
you've never really got past like the first section. It was that and Virtual Cop, really.
yeah, yeah. I remember the second level, but that was it. The end boss,
Uh,
like I know I'd seen it from like the Saturn and things like that, but I don't remember
yeah.
ever making it as far. And it was just really fascinating to play the game like, oh, this is me actually seeing House of the Dead. So I do urge it's well worth picking up, particularly for the cheats.
Mm,
Okay, so I still got quite a few more. Oh, let me do two more and then you jump back in.
yeah.
All right, obviously, I got to go back to again. So another 90s PS1 style game. I owned a lot of these, and this one's called K9, and it's in the best, I know. And that's because you play a young boy whose dog has gone missing, and you find out that a company has been stealing dogs to experiment on, and your dog's one of them. And you've got to go into their office and rescue it. However, a disaster has happened, and there's some monstrous dog creature roaming the halls you've got to avoid. The game is basically a mixture of inspired by Resident Evil, Silent Hill, and Alien Isolation, if you can believe.
Mm,
Obviously, it's not as good as any of those games. It's not. And it's very short. And it's actually got a bug. That means the second playthrough is super, super quick. But I don't know. I kind of enjoyed it. Like the first part was very atmospheric. So it's a game that's like split into two. The first part just exploring some linear holes, looking for your dog and reading like documents that are very Resident Evil style. There's even a joke about picking up a gun. You find a shotgun, and the kid rightfully says like, "Why would I pick up a shotgun?"
mm,
Do you know what I mean? It's like, yeah, why would a kid? Yeah, like fucking going
yeah.
around blasting things. And plus, at that point, he's not in any danger. The second part is the sort of run and hide gameplay. But I actually found it quite intuitive here and pretty simple, where you just got to go around, find certain switches in certain rooms, and that will eventually lead you to the exit. There are two endings, a good and a bad ending. Spoilers, the good ending, get the dog. Get the dog. But there's also cool achievement, like, for example, there's an achievement for completing the game still holding the dog's tennis ball, which made me
Mm,
laugh because basically you bring the dog's tennis ball with you originally and you use it to distract the monster, but there's an achievement for completing it or using and holding onto it. So
okay,
like stuff
yeah.
like that. I actually enjoyed it and completing the only thing I'd say is the hardest difficulty. The monster is very, very hard to avoid. So that
Mm,
glitch actually comes in comes is beneficial. But yeah, I enjoyed it. So that's K9. And I've got one more 90s aesthetic game, Murder House, one of the PS1 games. You are a film crew who go to a house to film a documentary about a killer who's been killing people, and eventually you find that the killer is still there, and you've got to escape the house.
proper.
And not, I know, but actually, there's a twist. There's a twist, and there's a twist at the end that reveals that none of it was real, and it was all just part of a film. Or was it, as the final scene reveals? It's very horror film, and I really love that. It's also really, sometimes these games can be really good. This one's very short, very simple, easy to play, easy to understand, and like all games, easier on a second playthrough when you know where you're going, you know where the puzzles and how to complete them and stuff like that. I like some of the scares, and it's got these brilliant, really garish moments of violence. I thought this was cool. Murder House is worth a play. Okay, your turn.
Yeah, well, so Jurassic World 3 Evolution.
Of course.
So I've completed the game 100%. Um,
Congratulations. Easier
yeah,
this time, right?
that's my only criticism when I get to it. So I've got to give the developers such high praise because they've taken the first one, the second one, fantastic, the
Yeah,
third one, and they have just by adding like the breeding program is unbelievable. And when I completed this game, the first one I did, I went straight into Google and typed, "When is Jurassic World Evolution 4 coming out?"
mm,
Because I can't praise these games so highly. I mean, I love these are my type of games. I love these games anyway. You know, the sort
yeah.
of theme park style sort of games. I love them. You know, but now the only criticism I have, and I've said to you before, is that it's way too easy. So I even done I created my own sandbox world, got it to 5 stars, and I thought I want to experiment to see how easy this is. So I even released every dinosaur in the park that kill people, and I still got 5 stars. That's how easy it is. You know, they've taken away they've taken away the difficulty, which I know some people will be okay with, but I enjoyed the challenge of like one thing going wrong, like one storm, I can wreck your entire game. I love
No,
that.
see, this is all right. Okay, I oh, we debated this last time, and we'll debate it again. I think right. This is such a thing that comes down to the individual taste.
Mhm.
For example, right, I thought Jurassic World Jurassic Evolution. Well, Jurassic World Evolution. I'm saying the fucking is the original game just got. I think it got the difficulty right. I think the second game is the one that fucked it up. The second game relies on luck
Mhm.
when it comes to the hardest difficulty. That's not fun. Or to play the game in a very specific way. That's no longer fun. I think this one is eat too easy. I think basically what they need to do is go back to how they did the first one, where there could be a mixture of luck and sometimes even reloading a save can save you from a bad storm, but you
Mm.
still could play your own way to a degree.
Mm.
Jurassic World Evolution 2, it was too much to the point where I don't think I will ever go back and complete Jurassic World Evolution 2 just because of how dumb those difficulty achievements are. So I support easier achievements because you can still play it on hard if you want, basically.
Yeah, of course, of course. Yeah, that's obviously it can come from both angles, of course. You
Yeah,
know,
of
but
course.
I'll always praise a game. Like just the moment I turn that game on, and I'm sitting in the menus, and then the iconic Jurassic Park theme comes on. I literally I sat in the menus for about 5 minutes just listening to it, and yeah, I know. But when I completed the game, I had the urge. I went back and then I watched every goddamn Jurassic Park film, even the shit ones, even the shit ones,
I've got
and
a question about this. I just it's going to be a little bit of a tangent, but we are still sticking in the Jurassic World. And I listened to a podcast the other day, and they're reviewing the new Jurassic World one, whatever it's called, one with Scarlett Johansson in it. I haven't
yeah.
seen it, and they made a
Mm.
point of saying, "Has there actually ever been a brilliant Jurassic Park sequel, like a genuinely good one?" And I was like, you know what? I don't think there has been. Like, no, seriously. We all know Jurassic Park's iconic, but like, The Lost World isn't a good film.
No,
Jurassic
no.
Park 3 is awful.
Hmm.
Jurassic World is okay, but it's just Jurassic Park again. And now the problem is, I've not seen any Jurassic Park after Jurassic World because I didn't like Jurassic World. So I didn't like the idea of where the films were going. Now I like so I mean like have you seen them all? Like
Yeah.
do you enjoy them?
I mean, obviously, everyone knows the first one is the best one, of course,
Oh yeah,
100%.
that's not for
Yeah,
debate. Yeah.
yeah, and then for me, it was Jurassic World Evolution, the first one. Said obviously, Lost World is poor. Number three is terrible. I can't remember what Evolution Two is called. The third one, and
No,
then
it's
I
not
think the third one.
Evolution. It's just Jurassic World.
Yeah,
Jurassic World
so,
Evolution is the game.
yeah, sorry, Jurassic World Two, and then
It's
I think the
Jurassic
third
World
one.
Lost
So,
Kingdom, isn't it? Jurassic
yeah,
World
Lost Kingdom is
Lost
terrible.
Kingdom.
And then Domination is absolutely fucking horrible
Right.
when he brought back the original cast.
That's
Obviously,
right. Yeah.
Sam Neill and obviously Ian, what's his name?
Jeff
Can't remember his
Goldblum.
name. Yeah, Jeff Goldblum. Yeah, they brought back the original cast, and then Rebirth. People rave about it because it's like, oh, it's that bloody Black Widow, whatever her name is. Oh, it's got to be fantastic because she's in it. We have to give her praise. The film's shit. I didn't like it, and it's
I've
called
not heard
Rebirth.
anyone
So,
saying that. I've not heard anyone saying that. I've heard it's just
well,
bad.
I mean, it's called Rebirth, so I'm guessing they're trying to rebirth, to like
I
I don't
don't
know,
think so.
restart.
I don't think so.
No,
I don't think so.
yeah,
I don't think so. But what I've been listening to, I haven't seen it, so I can't say for sure. But I
but
think the
I just hope
franchise has just become too bloated.
I just hope that doesn't it doesn't affect the games. Like, they're not like trying to base like, oh, because they made a new film, we'll make a new game and try and increase the money.
I got a question. I got a prediction. I think this is the last Jurassic World Evolution game.
Sadly, I think so too, because I don't see what else they can do.
That that
Yeah.
there. Other than getting graphically better with maybe a new system, maybe a Jurassic World Evolution game on a brand new system. But I
Mm,
think they've reached a peak now that all they'd end up doing is copying it, and they're not following the film, so to speak, or even kind of keeping it one. But I also reckon the developer could maybe have a go at a different style, a different
mm,
world, like a different thing. I know my only, although I think that I do suspect that because they have the license and that license is money, that might be a reason why we get it. But I'd be a bit dubious if there's a Jurassic World Evolution 4. And I'm not saying I wouldn't be happy to see it.
mm.
I'd be a bit dubious about it this time.
Of course, of course.
Okay, in my completion kick, I went back to two games I've had, which is the Leisure Suit Larry games. So obviously there were two new Leisure Suit Larry games released a few years ago that went back to the old way of doing things, point and click. Leisure Suit, not the horrible box office bust one from the Xbox 360. The old school Leisure Suit
Yeah.
Larry, point and click, confusing puzzles, sexual innuendo throughout, and I completed the first one. Wet Dreams Don't Dry. It's funny. It looks amazing. It's clever. It's Leisure Suit Larry games. They're brilliant point and click games, and this is a modern, great example of it. Yeah, I loved it. I got three more, so I'm going to do two more, and then Lee, you got one more, right?
I got three.
You got three more.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, you do one now then.
Yeah. So obviously, so Silent Hill F completed 100%.
Hmm.
I absolutely love this game. You know, I mean, it's got the Japanese culture, which I absolutely love. I love the Japanese culture, and it's absolutely fantastic. I love the story. I mean, the story is quite confusing, and I know a lot of people were confused about the story. But said I've completed obviously every playthrough, all the difficulties, completed 100%, and I loved it. Said it reminded me of an old school Silent Hill horror game, which I really enjoyed. Now, obviously, I know they've obviously got the remakes out and of the second one, which I've put off playing to complete this game. I've got it, I bought it, and I will
Yeah.
play it at some point. But yeah, it's a classic Silent Hill game, and I really enjoyed the story.
Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, I mean, it's good that you played F over two, I think, as well, because F's new. Do you know what I mean? And at the moment, Konami is on a Silent Hill kick. Blooper Team are teasing something to be announced on February 14th. It's no secret that they're working on a remake of the original Silent Hill. And Konami has said that they are working on a new Silent Hill game. So it wouldn't surprise me if on February 14th we get a announcement, a trailer, a teaser trailer for a brand new. It'll either be a brand new, because it's Blooper Team, they do the remakes. It might just be a trailer or a teaser trailer for Silent Hill remake, or it's a trailer for a new Silent Hill game. But I want to jump in now, folks, and let you know that while the game franchise might be doing well, the films franchise still sucks balls. Don't go see Return to Silent Hill. You'll be wasting your money. Anyway, moving on. um, Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons remake. This was the game me and Lou initially tried to play together. She would be controlling one brother, I would be controlling the other. We got about 50 minutes into it, and I was just like, we're going to have a fight and a divorce if we carry on this way. Um, yeah, but I went back and completed it. This is a game I'd actually completed back in the day, and truth be told, I should never have picked this back up because I didn't really want to play it, and I was sitting on my hard drive, and I'm like, look, just go complete it. On a plus, all the achievements of the remake, you don't even have to finish the game. You only need to get as far as chapter 6, and then you've unlocked all the achievements, and that's it. It felt like I just kind of wasted money. However, it is Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, and it is a lovely game. It's beautiful, it's easy to play, it's got emotion in it, it's got horror in it. I can't fault it just because I wasn't really feeling it, and because I'd already completed the game back in the day. when it was first released, it didn't deserve to be put in lower than the best because it is a wonderful game.
Mm.
If you've never played it, you should. The remake is wonderful and it's a fairly easy completion as well, you know? So that's kind of why it's in the best. Right, your turn.
Uh, uh, 2 point museum. So
Okay.
I went back to it to finish off the entire base game. Yeah, again, these are my type of games. I love these games. Completed the entire game apart from one DLC which they recently released for it, which at the moment I don't think it's worth a tenner for 4 or 5 achievements. So
Of
I'm going to wait
course.
until I drop down. I'll wait until I drop down in price. But yeah, I said I love these games. I can't wait for the next one if they do make another one. Yeah, so yeah.
I'd like it just to be better. I didn't really vibe with Two Point Museum. I do need to go back to it as well. Another game that's been sitting in my hard drive for a while is Castlevania Anniversary Collection. And obviously, this is a collection where, this a collection of old Castlevania games. Basically, the first set that were released on like the NES and things like that. And uh, not so much updated, but obviously now you can save at any point. You can rewind gameplay, all of that. So that difficulty that existed, back when you're playing these games on your NES and you've got one life and you die and you have to start the entire, that doesn't exist, right? And yes, you can say, well, that spoils it. However, I am super proud to announce that I have finally been able to complete the very first Castlevania. I've beaten Dracula and seen the end credits. It
Mm.
took about a bazillion saves and a lot of replaying and rewinding and this, that, whatever, and stuff to even do that. That game is fucking hard. Even with all these exploits that you can now do. But basically, I'm going to work my way through all those games and complete the anniversary collection. And it's fun to do. It's kind of cool to go back and be like, all right, I've now completed Castlevania. Let me do Castlevania 2. Simon's Quest, Woo.
Yeah.
I got one more.
Yeah, I've got one more too.
Then you finish up your one.
Yes, so finally I got around to playing it. Like a Dragon, Pirates Yakuza in
Oh,
Hawaii.
it went on Game Pass.
I know, literally, just as I completed the damn game, I obviously I bought the actual disc of the game.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh no.
yeah. I bought it about a month ago, but I completed the game 100% in the last week. You know,
Fair enough.
so but like a Dragon, Hawaii, and Infinite Wealth, the first probably 10 hours of this game, I was like, this game's terrible.
You always do this.
Yeah, I've got no idea I don't understand how this ex Tojo Yakuza of a chairman has suddenly become a pirate.
Why not?
How does
Why
that happen?
not?
Yeah, how did that happen? But then after because it's been such a while since I played like the previous games, I had to go back and do a bit of research, and then I remembered in the last game that he got on a ship, and he was on his way to an island to do a project, but then the ship crashed, and he lost his memory on this island. And then obviously, then the whole him becoming a pirate makes sense. How he has to defeat a captain on a ship to get off the island. And yeah, so long story short, it's the easiest Yakuza game I've ever played. I completed it within about 30 hours.
Oh
So
wow.
no stupid achievements like you have to get to level 70 and then complete the game on the hardest difficulty. Plus you've got to pay £20 to get to another level. Blah blah blah. Nothing stupid like that. No DLC. And then the story wise it's a brilliant story wise. You control a character who you have never controlled before in the game. And the one thing that they did do, which was quite shocking, shocking to me because I'm a big fan of the games, was that
Mm,
the original characters like your Kiro doesn't get a mention in the game at all
right.
until the very very end of literally the last probably minute of the game. It gets mentioned, and then obviously it brought back memories because the fact that obviously the last game you control Kiro in, he reveals that he's got cancer.
Right.
And then Pirates ends with your main character Goro Minch and Sejma standing outside the hospital. And as they walk in, they're talking to someone. The door closes, and it says his name. Like he's basically in a hospital bed. You don't know if he's dying or whatever. Now, obviously, I know they've got a new game coming, obviously Dark
Of
Ties.
course.
and they've I don't know they've remastered the remastered of the remastered
Yeah,
of
they're taking the piss
Clearly
of this stuff.
Departed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I know they're releasing. Uh, I think it's Yakuza 3 again, but in updated versions, and then another game called Dark Tides. So
Right.
obviously, I'm looking forward to that obviously when it comes out. But yeah, I love these games. I've played every single game in them, and I will play these two when they come out. So
There you go. Yeah, it's unlucky that it said you paid, but at least you got to enjoy it and not have to wait for a Game Pass. It supports the company, right? You know what I mean? Like you like it
yeah,
enough
of
that it's
course.
worth supporting.
I mean, the one thing I will say, which annoyed me, was when I first started the game, my characters were talking in American, and it hurt my ears. It hurt my ears. I had to quickly quit the game out and go back and stick them to talk in the actual native language, and then it
Yeah.
sounded
Yeah, it's
perfect
how you
because
want it to be. Yeah.
hearing those characters talking a
Well,
terrible.
it's a different voice actor as well, isn't it? Then as well,
Yeah,
so it
I
won't
know.
sound like who you would think they do. You know.
It sounded terrible because I'm so used to hearing these characters talking in the native language. So yes, I had to change that. But yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, my last one is old school as we go back to Turok 2. This, of course, is another Night Dive Studios game that's been taken and remastered, redone, re-released. They did it with Turok 1, and Turok 1 is a fairly surprisingly straightforward completion. But you know what? I don't remember Turok 1. I do remember Turok 2 from the Nintendo 64. Specifically, I always remember one level, which is Port of Adia, the first level in the game. Now, playing it, I now know why I don't remember any other level. It's because we wouldn't. Chances are we never made it past that level.
No, we didn't.
Not only because it was so fucking hard, but because Turok 2 is famous for being an absolute maze. Some of these levels, there are 6 of them, which doesn't sound like much until you realize that each level, particularly later ones, can be anywhere up to an hour. And they are literally a maze. And Night Dive Studios have done everything possible to try and make the game easier to understand and easier to play. And because of that, it's a better game for that. But my God, playing it now, I was like, what the fuck is going on? However, in my attempt to complete all these games, I was like, right, Turok 2 looks easy enough. Let me play through it and follow a secrets guide, because that's when the achievements find all the secrets. So let me play through the game and follow a secrets guide. No problem. Doing all that, completing the levels, get all the Primogen keys, all the upgrades, all that sort of stuff, and then finish the game, defeat the queen. And then I noticed, looking back, I was like, well, no, what I noticed, I already knew it was there, but I was like, oh, there's a complete the game on hardcore difficulty. No big deal, right? Oh my God. That one achievement took me longer than every other. I've done it now. Let me explain how I ended up doing it. So, after basically, if you imagine this, on a normal difficulty in Turok, an enemy shoots you and you lose 2 health. On hardcore, that enemy now takes 40 of your health off. You've got 100 health. You can take 2 or 3 hits. In enemies that are boom, 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 throwing grenades and all that, they take more damage. Your weapons are weaker. And here's the problem. You don't want, it's so hard to explain, but basically, you don't want to play the game fully. Now, you have objectives to complete in each level, but you don't have to necessarily complete them all to finish the game. That's the exploit you're going to take advantage of to complete it on a hardcore difficulty. Because having to complete all the objectives would not only make this game even harder and more difficult to do, but I don't know if I'd have done it. Like, I think I might have given up. It was too much. So, but I'm like, okay, well, how am I going to play this? Because, like, how do I know what to skip, basically, objective wise? So I use this. There is a speedrunner out there. It was done as a charity stream on Twitch. And it's a speed run of Turok 2. Completing the game, but by completing it, what I mean is beating the end boss in about an hour and 5 minutes, an hour and 10 minutes, which is insanely fast. However, right now, hear me out again. This is not as straightforward as you think. You're like, well, that's good. Just follow what he's doing, right? No, he's doing on easy. So he's running past enemies and taking damage. You can't do that on hardcore. You
No, of course not.
cannot, like, not without some serious luck. He's doing jumps that are I don't know if they've been patched out. There was one jump I just couldn't do. He jumps where you skip parts of the level. He did one jump where I simply couldn't do it. I must have tried over and over again 100 times and I just couldn't make it. So I ended up having to play through a part of the game. And importantly, he does things called death. I think they're called death loops or death teleports. So Turok works where every level has 2 or 3 teleporters. And basically they're checkpoints. You die, you revert to that checkpoint. However, obviously the enemies are back and all of that. So what he was doing, he'd maybe get to a certain point in a level, find a primogen key or a key for another level, let himself die to then walk back to the checkpoint and then continue from there, or use that checkpoint to then leave the level completely.
Yep.
On hardcore, you don't have enough lives to do that. So, there's a glitch. Now, I think the Night Dive have left this glitch on purpose, clearly. There's a glitch where you can, using a very unique trick, and I urge people to read up about it, at the start of the game, get 255 lives. Which basically means, okay, dying isn't a problem. You still don't want to do it, because obviously every time you die, you revert back to a checkpoint. But so what you then do, is what I then did was program quick save and quick load to be on the sticks. So basically, I must have quick saved 1,000 times. Every enemy fight, every little step you make forward, and you're like, okay, my health's still high. Save. And you're just constantly saving and loading, saving and loading. Yes, inevitably, I did make a mistake. I actually made a mistake with the final boss. I accidentally quick saved as he killed me. So I was stuck in a loop and I had to restart the boss battle again. However, right, so there you go. So I've got the speed run, and the speed run video overall is an hour and 30 minutes long, even though his speed run's quicker, but there's cutscenes and things like that. So what I was doing was I was watching that video and then trying to replicate what he was doing as best as possible, even the hardest difficulty, because it was very helpful. What it does is it meant I was able to skip most of the objectives. He finds all the primogen keys as well, so because the primogen boss is the easier boss to fight of the two. He finds all the level keys and most of the feathers that you need to kind of progress. He does all of that fast, so it's worth that. But if you can picture it, 10 minutes of his video equated to about sometimes an hour in real life. Because I'm watching it like here, watch him do like 15 seconds. But in those 15 seconds he's running past 4 enemies. Well, I can't run past 4 enemies. I'm dead otherwise. You take too much damage. So I have to stop, think about what I'm doing, work out. Sometimes I would attack the enemies and it would go badly. So I reload, and it's all stuff like that. Ammo, things like that. So you could say, well, that wasn't much fun. I had a blast doing it. When I finished it, and it's a proper like, yes, I fucking did it. I've completed Turok 2 completely and on the hardest difficulty. Yay. Yes, I had to use some dude's speed run to do it and a combination of an exploit for lives, but I fucking did it. I wouldn't necessarily say play it. If you after, it's not like if you want to go through what I've gone through, obviously don't play it, you know. But you know, Night Dive Studios. The joke is, it's a great remastering. Again, just like Turok 1, just like Shadow Man, just like The Thing. Honestly, Night Dive Studios deserves more credit for what they do. And Turok 2 is another great example. It looks better, it plays better, it's done, it's better. Remember how foggy Turok was? Because it didn't have the draw distance, so they had to put a load of fog in it. That's all gone. You can actually see the fucking game properly now. There you go. That was it. That was the big one, Turok 2.
Yeah. Except because I noticed that you were playing Shadow Man again too.
Oh, no, not playing. So I'm not playing these games. So what you've seen recently is me loading up Shadow Man, Broken Sword, and maybe even Resident Evil. It's because there's a thing I like to do, and I'm doing more of it now. I love to create, and I'm making more ambient playlists for YouTube for a channel. And what it is, so for example, what I've done with Shadow Man is I position Mike, go to first person view, remove everything around it, and create a framed picture. So like, for example, one of them is just Mike standing outside Asylum, the gateway to Asylum. And then what I do is I record that for about an hour. And then I put it into my video editing software and put the Asylum soundtrack on a loop over it. So basically, it's like, you ever see them? People have a lot of them online, study aids, background music. I listen to a lot of that stuff when I'm working, out doing site stuff. So I'll have it on the background. Like at the moment, what am I listening to? I'm listening to an Outer Wilds one that's on repeat, but I like Blade Runner. And so basically, I thought, you know what? I could create my own. And I noticed no one really does them with Shadow Man. And I was like, let me do Shadow Man. And then I was like, let me do some Broken Sword ones. So like one of my Broken Sword ones is George standing outside the museum. And it's just the ambience. Another is George inside the Irish pub. I've got George outside Nico's apartment. And again, just an hour with ambient music. So those ones, I don't need to add soundtrack over because the sound of like the noise in the background is kind of working for it. And with Resident Evil, now I've already done a couple with Resident Evil. I have one where Jill is standing on the balcony of the main room. And the main, you know, that music that plays in that main room is that on a loop. She's just standing there. I'm doing one where it's an ambient one where she's standing outside on the outside balcony, and she's standing still, looking out towards the forest, and all you're hearing is like the dogs barking, howling, the sound of the crickets. Like it's an ambient playlist. You know what I mean? Like so that's what you're seeing. If you see me load up old games like that, it's because I'm doing that. In fact, I'm playing. Weirdly, I've decided to scale things back. Is I sold my Nintendo Switch the other day. Yeah. I realized I hadn't put it on 6 months, maybe longer. I just hadn't played it. And that I realistically was never really going to play it because I just don't have the time to play that many different consoles. And that what Nintendo offered isn't enough. I've got no interest in a Nintendo Switch 2. I've got no interest in it. And they're like, oh my God, Red Dead Redemption plays really well in it. I'm like, what, the game that's been out on Xbox for the last 5 fucking... No. But anyway, we got off topic there. That is our best and worst and general chat about the games we've been playing throughout January and partially into December. If you've got any thoughts on what we've talked about here, you know what to do. Let us know in the comments. Thank you very much for watching. We really do appreciate it. If you like what you've seen, consider hitting that like and subscribe button. It does make a difference. Of course, you can find us at gbhbl.com and across almost all social media platforms, so do check us out there. If you really, really want to support us though, consider buying us a coffee over on our coffee page. Thank you very much.